So, imagine a fruit you've probably seen 100 times. A common fruit with a secret so powerful, it can literally blur the lines of your own identity. We're talking about a plant so aggressive it actually melts protein, and it was even used as a secret weapon by soldiers in the Pacific. We are diving into the papaya today, a true biological identity eraser and what I can only describe as a glitch in botanical history.
Okay, let's just get right into it. Can a fruit really erase your identity? I know. It sounds like something straight out of a spy movie, right? But the proof is, quite literally, at your fingertips. We're talking about a common, everyday tropical fruit that has a very, very uncommon and aggressive secret.
So, what's the secret weapon here? It all comes down to this super powerful enzyme called papain. Now, if you've ever handled a green, unripe papaya, you've probably seen that milky white liquid, that latex that kind of bleeds from the skin. Well, that stuff is absolutely loaded with papain, and its one and only job is to slice protein molecules to bits. It's basically nature's little chemical weapon.
So what happens when you put that weapon on human skin? Well, if you rub that milky latex on your hands, the papain immediately gets to work, dissolving the very top layer of your skin. And if you do it long enough, it can actually blur the fine ridges of your fingerprints, making a part of your identity just vanish, at least for a little while.
But you know, this isn't just some quirky fact or a party trick. This fruit's incredible power has a serious history. Back in World War II, soldiers fighting in the Pacific stumbled upon the papaya's incredible power, not as a weapon against the enemy, but as a critical tool for their own survival. So picture this. The situation was tough. Rations were running low, and soldiers had to hunt whatever they could find. The local wild game, though, was incredibly tough to eat. But then they learned a trick from the local population. The process couldn't have been simpler. You just wrap the tough meat in papaya leaves and let it sit overnight. And what happened was just incredible. The very same enzyme, papain, which is also in the leaves, was working all night long, slicing and dicing and breaking down all those tough protein fibers in the meat. By morning, that impossibly tough meat was soft and actually edible. It was a jungle survival hack, all thanks to the humble papaya. Okay, so it's a fingerprint eraser and a meat melter. But the papaya's skill set, believe it or not, doesn't stop there. Let's switch gears from an external weapon to an internal medicine, because this fruit also acts as a really powerful parasite hunter. And this is exactly why you should never just throw the seeds away. In a lot of traditional cultures, they harvest the seeds, crush them up into a paste, and sometimes they'll even mix it with something potent like wasabi. Then they eat it, and it's used as a traditional remedy to help flush out internal parasites. The fruit is its own little survival pharmacy. All right, let's just pause and recap for a second. We're dealing with a biological powerhouse that can blur your identity, tenderize a tough piece of meat without any heat, and act as an internal medicine. Which really makes you wonder, why doesn't the papaya you buy at the grocery store seem nearly this incredible? And this, right here, is the central conflict in our story. The papaya that most of us know and eat, it's a pale imitation. It's like a zombie version of its wild, powerful ancestor. What you're actually buying is just a ghost of the fruit's true power. I mean, just look at the difference. A wild papaya, ripened on the tree, is absolutely packed with those potent enzymes. But the grocery store version, it's picked when it's still green, it's gassed with ethylene to force it to look ripe, and a lot of the time it has sterilized seeds. It's been completely engineered from a biological powerhouse into a simple, commercialized snack. And the gap in that papain power, it is dramatic. We're basically eating the shadow of the real fruit, completely missing out on all the incredible biological abilities that made it a legend in the first place.
So how did this powerhouse of a fruit get so widespread to begin with, long before it was industrialized? Well, its journey across the globe is this fascinating story of ancient trade and just how useful it was.
It all started in ancient Mesoamerica. Then it got picked up by Spanish explorers, and from there it just traveled the world on all these trade routes. It became a staple food across the Pacific because it grows incredibly fast and, this is the crucial part, it produces fruit all year round. It was the perfect, most reliable food source you could ask for.
And that just leaves us with this incredible paradox. We took a fruit that can literally blur your fingerprints and tenderize wild game, a biological identity eraser that helped soldiers survive a world war, and we have systematically bred all the power out of it, just to turn it into a simple, plastic-wrapped snack. When you really, truly consider what this fruit was and what we've turned it into, it's just staggering.
We're looking at a biological legend, and all most of us ever see is an ingredient for a fruit salad. Now, that's absolutely wild.